How how do you see A Course of Love relating to A Course in Miracles?
Well, I've had several ideas about it, and one that I propose is that it's of the same tradition, and that the tradition is prophetic, and that Jesus has come to announce the newness of this path of the heart, that the ego has been threatened, it's been weakened, it's dissolving. We're entering a new time, a time of heart wisdom, heart energy. There's an emergence of heart wisdom. So I talk about it that way. And in that sense, I like to see it as, and I like to encourage people to see it as something new. What I heard when it was announced was it would be a new Course in Miracles. And I think it needs to be allowed to be that, to not be seen through the same lens as the Course in Miracles. On the other hand, another possibility exists, and that is that some people have to find their path through the heart. And some people have to maybe find their path through the mind. I can't say that there's necessarily a progression here. It could be that there are two different ways, and that's just fine too.
I really liked what you said today about how you kind of come to, part of your role is to show us how the difficult times in our life can be used to enrich us spiritually and to really be lessons and show our wisdom. And can you talk a little bit more about that and how your personal feelings on those times in our lives?
Yeah, and there are the people who are almost undone by these feelings. It's very overwhelming, and there's a lot of self-realizations, a lot of change, and there can be a lot of confusion. And really just a great worried wondering, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Is this the way I'm supposed to feel? And I don't know, I just think it's, you don't really realize it until, at some point you do. It's like, what an outrageous question, really. Is this the way I'm supposed to feel? We feel as we feel. And so these difficulties, I've found that a lot of people think that when they experience them, or they get this tumult of feeling, and they think that there's something wrong. And that's just the time when they'll say, oh, my path isn't working. Why is everything so hard for me? And they feel different, like nobody else experiences this stuff. And so that's one of the reasons that I really want to talk about that quite a bit, is because of kind of to comfort people. Because I really believe sometimes that when people are experiencing kind of their most confusion and their most overwhelmedness, they're really getting close to something. They're ready to break through. And that those feelings have to be stayed with and sort of allowed to be.
Great. What does A Course of Love kind of say about that self-acceptance and that that it's okay to be who you are, and it's okay. What does The Course of Love talk about?
Boy, to me, that's its whole message. It begins right away by saying, it's all about being who you are, about ending the identity crisis so you can be who you truly are. And it just goes on. It's almost like the words at the beginning of the Course are a little bit more Christian and more lofty, talking about you can be your Christ self. And then as it goes on, though, it's more and more being your true self, being who you really are, being able to express yourself, that you are, you have a given self. You were given all the gifts that you need to express the love that you hold in your unique way. So that acceptance, and in the dialogues, Jesus calls it radical acceptance. I mean, it's a radical acceptance of ourselves as we are. In fact, one of the very first things in A Course of Love is that we're already accomplished. We don't have to do anything to become accomplished. We're already accomplished.
Right. And about, we're already accomplished. How is that? How, talk a little about how we are already accomplished?
Well, sure. One of the ways that I talk about it is as experiencing grandparenting for the first time, and you see a baby come into the world, and there they are, really nothing more than bare wrinkly skin and poop, and they're so divine. And you can tell within a day, and for sure within 2 days, this baby was born with personality, and that's not the ego, And the same thing, I felt the same thing many, many times. Just this very keen sense that we are as we were created. Doesn't it's sort of like all the things that come on top of that. They're the product of our learning. It's really one of a very major theme of this course is that we are taught in a way not to be who we are. It begins very early, and you're enculturated in certain ways, and there's media, and there's technology, and all the ideas of what good and bad are, what we're supposed to feel, what we're not supposed to feel, so that our naturalness gets taught out of us. But we were born accomplished. We were born with a true nature, and we're finding our way back to that.